Hi, my name is Alfonso, and I'm a New York Rangers fan, and my team sucks. If you're watching in Florida Caniac perspective, go Cane!
Hello and welcome to the Florida Caniac Perspective. I am the Florida Caniac. Today's episode is going to be a pretty simple one. What to expect in the offseason for our beloved Carolina Hurricanes. There's a lot of speculation out there, as we all know, and there's quite a few names out there that have been kind of floating around the rumor mill, as we can all imagine. However, before I get started with everything, I got to touch base on the unfortunate situation that we no longer have Carolina Hurricanes hockey to be watching nowadays. It's just the rest of the playoffs here on out, and I personally thank the Carolina Hurricanes organization for such a wonderful season with all the stuff that's been going on out there with this pandemic and everything else that's been a rebuttal to the entire NHL. This team prevailed and gave us something to be hopeful for, especially going into next season, as we all are looking forward to what that brings ahead. So we're going to get into the unrestricted free agents and the restricted free agents, UFAs and RFAs for short. But let's talk about the RFAs first, because that's a little bit more complicated here. RFAs are a lot of players that are under the age of 27 that don't have a whole lot of NHL experience under them, which is pretty much less than 7 years of NHL time. This is why Sebastian Aho was classified as a restricted free agent. And this is why Montreal had to put an offer out there and Carolina had to match the offer, which we all know how easy that went overall. So I'm not going to get into the salary part of things because that just gets a little too complicated in all honesty for a lot of people to follow on here. So as far as it goes, younger players fall into this category. Clark Bishop is out there. Warren Foegele is out there as well. Those are some pretty decent names out there, and as well as Hayden Fleury. That fall into this RFA category, as you can see on the list here, and why it's a little bit shorter of a list in a way than we have normally seen in the past, because this team is starting to get a little bit of experience in them, as we all know. So just speculation here, as we all know. I could see these guys being re-signed. There might be an offer for maybe 2 or 3 of these guys. As you see, McEwen's on the list. And Clark Bishop, as I mentioned earlier, those might be some chances there that might have a possibility out there. Warren Foegele has gained some attention throughout the NHL in the past 2 seasons with his playoff time, so there might be something there, but I would say unlikely to happen because RFAs really don't get touched a whole lot in the offseason unless there's an outstanding player out there like a Sebastian Aho that might have something to deal with. And this is going to be something for Andrei Svechnikov to worry about upcoming next season. Not this one coming up here, but the next offseason, I would say. So be on the lookout for that type of news. On to the unrestricted free agents. Now, as we all know, these guys don't have any limitations whatsoever. Those contracts are up with no restrictions. They can explore any option out there within the league. And you will bet your butt that there will be teams that might be coming after 1 or 2 of these guys on this list here. I can maybe see a Sami Vatanen get looked at. I could even see some other guys out there as well, much like a Joel Edmondson type, as you can see on the list here. Trevor Van Riemsdyk is another one out there that is a UFA. I will say this from a personal point of view when it comes to Trevor Van Riemsdyk. I really thought that Carolina would maybe do some sort of a trade with him. I'm not sure if they have any true rights to his negotiations. I would assume there's something there for that because there is some red tape regarding some sort of things like that. But this might be the player that he might not get re-signed by Carolina to make some room for what could be another signing out there. I'm not going to get into other free agents out there. I'm only focused on the Carolina team right now with this category. But there could be some other ideas out there. And of course, the other one, the elephant in the room, Justin Williams. We kind of have an idea as fans what to expect out of Justin Williams. But again, until we hear the official word from himself, I'm not saying anything about it. But I could say from what I've seen and what I've heard, This could be it for Justin Williams, as we all expected out there, and it's been a heck of a ride for his time once again returning to the Carolina Hurricanes for sure. And now let's get the rumors really flying out there. Free agency and trades. When it comes to trades, Carolina has one good thing going for them, and that's a lot in the defensive side of the game. They have a lot of assets there to really work with, and based on what we've seen with the potential affiliation here, we're not sure about the prospects, but it looks like some prospects may be staying with this team, and that's going to bode very well for the Hurricanes overall. So if they're going to make any type of splash, I could see something offensively happening there overall for something like that when it comes to this team. I'm not expecting to go after a top scorer, a top 10 type scorer. I could see a second line guy that they might be going after when it comes to boosting up the scoring here, because let's face it, they really only had 1.5 good possibility of lines they're really scoring out there throughout the playoffs, and that kind of opened my eyes a little bit to where we need 4 lines total for this team to work out right. So expect them to really kind of boost up some of those productivity pieces right there with a second line center, maybe a second line winger of some sort, and then we can kind of move around a little bit there. So if they can improve there offensively, this is going to bode very well for the team. When it comes to free agents, this is where Carolina really doesn't make a huge amount of splashes out there. And we've seen some guys out there get signed out there in the free agent market for sure with his team. Eric Holla was a good example of that, and Ryan Dzingel as well, signing over there. Although they have kind of underperformed a little bit. Well, more Ryan Dzingel than Eric Holla. He went on to Florida. So I could see Ryan Dzingel, reason why he's on the trade block as well. So you can kind of see something with that happening. But as far as some of the free agents that are out there, a lot of the older guys are still out there. You got your, Joe Thorntons are going to be out there, most likely going to hang him up at this point, I would think. Patrick Marleau as well is another one of those guys. Our very own Justin Williams is out there, and we know what's going to happen there. He's either going to just be done with hockey or just stay with Carolina. I don't really see him really going anywhere else. Zdeno Chara, he's going to stick with Boston. We all know that as well. Mikko Koivu is a good one out there. But he's 37 years old. Do we really want another veteran on this team? I really don't see it. So when it comes to free agency, there's a lot of older players out there for sure. And there's some free agent goalies out there that could be looked at. Braden Holtby is a good example of that. So if we're going to look at goaltending on the free agent side, that might be a possibility. However, you got a guy like that that's going to be asking for a lot of money out there, and there's no way Carolina's going to fork out the money, especially with the history they've had with paying goaltenders and literally paying any player other than Sebastian Aho and what looks to be Andrei Svechnikov later. When it comes to the trade side of things as well, when it comes to goaltending, this is another part here that could happen, or mostly free agents, excuse me. So Korpisalo is going to be out there. Matt Murray is going to be out there as well. Marc-Andre Fleury as well. I don't see them really going after a top tier goaltender. If I had to pick between those 3, I would probably go with Matt Murray overall. And there's a few other goalies out there as well. Corey Crawford's going to be a free agent as well, as you'll see out there. It just really, you don't know. But at the same time, they could also be, if they lose a defensive player, they might sign a defensive player. Kevin Shattenkirk kind of comes to mind as well. That could be a potential landing spot for this team. But again, don't count the chickens too much here. This is way too early speculation here. And there could be some possibilities from other guys that we're obviously not thinking about that this team really is. So we got to let these guys do their job out here, and we got to trust them all the way through. But if I had to pick a few guys that I would like to see Carolina go after, I would say, yeah, let's give Matt Murray a shot. I would love to see Korpisalo, but I don't know if that's really going to happen out there. When it comes to free agent forwards, TJ Brody is the one that kind of comes to my mind. I would love to see a guy like that happen all the way through here. And you never know. But let's see what this team can do. And now let's talk about some other related news to the Carolina Hurricanes, and that's their new affiliation, a 3-year agreement with the Chicago Wolves AHL franchise. This is actually a good thing for the Carolina Hurricanes, as crazy as it may sound. And this is coming from my opinion here, and I get it, there's other opinions out there. And I understand the home base situation that they have with the Charlotte Checkers. 10 years is a long time to be part of affiliations, and unfortunately it didn't work out between the two sides on that. bygones got to be bygones in this case, and both sides needed to move on regardless. So as Charlotte goes to Florida to be part of their affiliation, Chicago comes in for the Carolina Hurricanes. And with Don Waddell's close history with this team, it's nothing but good things. Chicago is ran very much like an NHL organization. They spend the money on the players, and they get good players in there with the acquisitions and the help with the actual organizations. They put a lot of time into these things. And as far as the developmental coaching things, there's not going to be much of a change there. Plus, when it comes with a travel aspect of things, Chicago's kind of a hub city for a lot of these NHL teams anyway, and especially the AHL affiliates out there as well. So going back and forth between Raleigh and Chicago's not going to be that big of a deal overall. So all in all, and at the end of things, this is a good thing. Chicago has well known for winning Central Division championships back-to-back, to believe it or not. As far as the actual success of the team down the road, you could say a few different things about it. At the same time, this is good for the Carolina Hurricanes. I can't wait to see what happens with this new affiliation. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of success this could bring to the Carolina Hurricanes. Well, here we are. Another ending to another Carolina Hurricanes season. It was an unfortunate ending overall, but at the end of the day, I'm really happy to see the NHL was able to continue this season with everything that's going on out there, and the fact that they have done a phenomenal job making sure there has not been a positive test out there. That is a key thing, and I hope the other major sports out there has a huge learning experience from what the NHL has done, because they have set an incredible standard all the way through. And let's hope this season comes back sooner than expected. Rumor is it could be January at this point, from my understanding out there. With that said, guys, definitely check out my podcast throughout the summers. Little quick 15-minute programs out there. Definitely check them out. I bring the fans in on this one as well. And if you happen to like this video, definitely subscribe to the channel here, and definitely click that notification bell so you get updated when the new videos actually come on out. It's been an interesting season all the way through, guys. Unfortunately, it's not with the Stanley Cup in our possession. But hey, that's why we get ready for next season, and they know exactly what to do going forward. Let's have faith in these boys, and let's enjoy the rest of these playoffs here as we see what the outcome becomes. And as always, guys, this is the Florida Caniac signing off for the 2019-2020 season. It's been a heck of a ride, guys. I'll see everybody next time. Get your off-ice training going. We got a season to go after. And as always, guys, go Canes!